Hey guys, what's going on? In this video I'm going to be unboxing this new PC case that I just ordered, which of course is the IQUNIX ZX-1. So this is how it arrives, and as far as boxes go, it's a pretty nice one. So I'll just get the box cutter out and get this open. But before I do that, I just want to mention that this is the water-cooled version in space gray. So IQUNIX offers a few different colors, and they also have an air-cooled version of the case, which is about a liter smaller. And they also sell mechanical keyboards. So if you guys want to get started on your journey of falling down the rabbit hole, you can do so. So let me just try to pop this open as quietly as I can. And every time I record one of these videos, I always hit either the camera or the microphone, so I'm trying to avoid that in this one. So once you get the box open, this is what it looks like. There is a smaller box here, which is probably some of the hardware and connectors and that sort of thing. So I'm zoomed in a little bit close here, but let me just try to do my best, and I'll just turn that around quickly. And we will be taking a closer look at that in just a second. This is another important part right here. You can see just how much foam is included in this packaging. Always a good thing to see. And let me just get that out of the way. And now we can start to see the top of the actual case. And that also comes in a protective layer of sort of a plastic film. And while I'm at it, I'll just check underneath this foam here and see if there's anything else at the bottom. So let's start with this smaller box, and then we'll move into the actual case. And now that we have it open, you can see the things like the connectors and hardware that we're going to need to install our own computer components. I'll just take these out of the bag and bring them a little bit closer. So first one up, SATA power. Then our audio connectors from the motherboard to the front panel. And you can see that right there. And let me just bring the SATA power connector a little bit closer. And then finally we have the USB connector from the motherboard again to the front panel. And that is USB 3.0, as you can see. So hopefully I can fit these back in the bag. Not if I drop it like that, though. So next up here is all of the hardware, which should connect all of our components into the actual case. This small piece of metal, let me just take a closer look. I think that is one of the supports for the graphics card, and it looks just like that. This is a extension cable that plugs into the power supply unit because this is a sandwich layout. So the power supply doesn't lie at the back of the case like a traditional setup. Also included is a small screwdriver with a couple of different bits here. And I'll just flip that around so you guys can see it a little bit better. I'm not going to be taking this out of the film, but this is an SSD support bracket, and that mounts to the bottom of the case. Next up is this PCIe riser cable. Now it's important to note that this is a Gen 3 cable, so if you need a Gen 4, you're going to have to provide your own, unfortunately. And last in the box here is the instruction manual. So we'll just take a quick flip through. And I've always found that the quality of the instruction manual kind of goes hand in hand with the quality of the company. So the diagrams here look pretty good. And this is the setup that we are going to be going with. It's the water-cooled version. So all in all, looks pretty straightforward, but it always looks easy when nothing is in the case. I'll just put everything back in here and we can move on to the actual case itself. This is the case, and I can already feel just how solid this aluminum is. And hopefully we can do this somewhat quietly, although I'm sure since I'm recording this, it won't cooperate. Maybe I can just kind of flip it over onto the back. And I am sure this won't work, but let's try anyway. I think I might just have to kind of rip it off. So now that we have it partially exposed, we can see that space gray color. And it is pretty similar to my MacBook Pro that I'm using right now to record this audio. So here's how it arrives, and you can see that space at the top for our water cooler. The side panel there. The bottom. And I will flip it over to the back as well. So a small vent in the back. And then while I'm at it, let me just give you a closer view of the top. Let me just get the measuring tape out and we can go over some dimensions. So it is just about 13 inches deep by 6 inches wide and a little over 10 inches in height. So now that I have it up close, you can really see the fitment of the side panels here. So all you need to do to get the side panel off is just kind of push it from the back. And these are held in magnetically. There is also hardware that holds the magnets to the case, so you don't have to worry about them falling out, for example. Everything is pretty solid, including this panel here. So let me just get a little bit closer. You can see how the magnets fit. And that's a little bit of the interior structure here. Like I mentioned briefly before, it is a sandwich layout. So you have a spine down the center of the case, and on each side you'll have different components. So the motherboard and power supply unit on one, and the graphics card on the other, just to sort of simplify the layout there. And then I can just flip it around and do the same thing. Same technique, push from behind. You don't need that much force, and then just pop the side panel out. And just make sure you have one hand holding it so it doesn't fall down. Identical to the other side panel. And you can see the venting there. And then I'll give you guys just a little bit more detail of the top there. And now that the panels are off, let me just rotate it around. You can see the front panel connectors there, as well as the power button. And let me just give that a quick press. This feels slightly spongy. And of course, that echoing sound comes from the fact that there is nothing in the case. Next, we're going to use the same technique to hopefully get the top off. I'm having just a little bit of trouble here. So we just kind of coaxed it off and then just remove it straight up. And here you can really see the detail. So now that everything's off, this is what the case looks like. And here is all the connectors on your front panel. So starting with your regular USB-A connector, headphone jack, USB-C, microphone, and then the USB port. So next up is the wiring for the power button, which is right here. And then here are going to be the ends of the cable, which just connect back to the motherboard to make the power button function. It's also worth mentioning on the bottom here, you can fit a 120mm fan, so hopefully I can cable manage well enough to make that work. So here is how the panel goes on. I just kind of hold it diagonally and then onto the lip of the bottom. Maybe I can do that a little bit more successfully. But just make sure that is in place, and then you can rotate it up. And then the magnet should take care of the rest. So same thing here, hold it diagonally, support it on the lip of the case, and then the magnets will lock it into place. And then with the top panel, just put it on the case and push down evenly, and that should work. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please do feel free to leave any questions that you may have in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And I will see you guys again with another video very, very soon.